SK Vibemaker.
It's another one, myself, SK Vibemaker. My interviews are hotter, and you know we bring through the best special guests. We are not changing tradition anytime soon. Today we got Southwest London in the building, in the flesh today. We ain't in the virtual room, you know. His name is KAM-BU. What's going on?
Wow, I'm good, bro. I'm blessed, man. How are you, fam?
I'm all good, you know. You are a name that they're definitely starting to talk about. It's been a good, year or so for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For those that are wondering, kind of give them the story thus far.
I think, all right, so far, I think one of the big things that happened was Different as a track with me and Lord Apex. That kind of took off. That was out on NTS, and that just did good numbers real quickly. Everyone was vibing with that. And then I guess that's when I started getting a look in from other people. People were being more interested, but at the time I was just putting out music on my one side. I had this thing called Moments, which was just bare different flavors of stuff that I'm interested in and wanted to do. So I put that out before Different. So it was just a nice run up, and I've basically just been active for the past year and a half. Just on it.
Has it gone to plan? Well, I can't say it's gone to plan, but I mean for when you plotted out your route from sort of the beginning of last year, knowing that you're going to be doing the majority of your stuff in the pandemic, has it kind of gone to that kind of plan?
Yeah, I mean, it's a surprise really, because everyone's in a bit of it's a mad time, innit, for artists and just our industry in general. So I don't know, it's been mad. I couldn't say I expected it, but it's nice to have the gratification, I guess, and people be like, yeah, this is hard. So obviously it just puts more confidence in me and my art. So people I'm just gonna keep going with it.
Now, I don't know whether you like it or not, but it seems like a lot of people are attaching alternate rap to your name. It seems like if you're not doing the drill thing, the road rap thing, the Afro wave thing, then they kind of call you alternate rap. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. Are you appreciating that term? Are you owning that term?
I think that's music is always up to what the listener wants to call it. If that's how they feel about it, or a song makes you feel a type of way, that's how you feel about it. I think in my styles, people have always heard the drilly flows, and they've heard the rap flows, and the beats are a bit different, so that's why they might call it that. But I think when you come to the shows, you'll see for what it is. In it, I don't really put my music in a box anyway, so I always do a bunch of different stuff. Always in the studio making different types of music. So you just have to watch the space in it, see how it goes.
So when you're not doing the kind of regular thing, the phase, the trend of what's popping at the moment, how much of a challenge is that? Because, you know, a lot of artists take maybe the easier route and give the fans and the industry exactly what's popping, you know what I mean? Some might say that's the easier route, but when you're doing something different, how much of a challenge is that?
I think, it comes with many things. I think just being an artist in general as well, making something and then trusting and putting it out in the universe, and then people listening to your stuff and appreciating it. You know, it's always it's weird, isn't it? It's hard. It's weird, man. You just don't know how people are gonna receive it. I think more so not doing and following the crowd. Also, depending on what you're trying to gain out of music, if it's not the norm, then it can make you a bit worried. But I think just do you. That's why the name is KAM-BU, but it's actually KAM-BU. So that's all. It was just a message to myself when I came up with that name, is to just keep it true to yourself. And there's something to be said about being able to do the things that everyone who else is popping, but do it better than them. You know, I think someone like Kendrick is just a perfect example. He can do that, but when he's doing it, he's actually spitting knowledge, and it's those are people that I look up to. You know, it's being able to do what the new kids can do, but in your own way. Straight up. That's a big flex.
Now, we kind of touched on the fact that people are calling you alternate rap because you're not doing kind of what everybody else is doing. What was the music and the artist that shaped you? I mean, was you a grime kid? Was you listening to Afro beats, reggae? Was you listening to, I don't know, you could be listening to pop music or classical. What was the music that kind of had the biggest influence on you, or that you lean most towards growing up as a young'un?
I think, just growing up, there was always different music playing in my house. Obviously coming from the Jamaican household, mum's running the joints, my dad's running the reggae joints, old roots. If it ain't roots, it's dancehall. And then my mum just listening to people like Anita Baker, and my dad having Kanye West CDs, Dr. Dre, and just moving through the time. Even being able to go to HMV as a kid, we didn't always have the piece to buy all the CDs, but because you could go there and play the CDs, innit? We would just go there for an hour or 2 hours and just be putting on CDs and running them. So I would always go to different categories and find genres I've never heard the name of, and be like, what does that sound like? Take that to the CD thing, listen to 3 tracks of that. And then with my brother and sister, I've got an older brother and sister, they're 3 years older than me. They put me onto a lot of grime early on. So I knew about Dizzy Rascal, I knew about like the Risky Rose tape and all of that. So my brother was putting me onto all of that, and like all my brother's friends used to spit bars. So it was definitely grime that was like got me into it. I think the first tape I had was an Eminem cassette. Then the first album I ever bought, like aside from singles and stuff that had come out, the first album was a Gorillaz one. So I've just had this constant influx of loads of different genres, and it's just added to the taste and kind of my ear and what I hear when I'm in the studio. But I think the first album that really made me want to rap was the Rakim 18th Letter.
Gee, you went back.
Yeah.
Shouts to all those that know about Rakim Allah, you know.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
80s, 90s legend and that.
Yeah.
How did you get your hands on that CD? I mean,
my dad had it. It was my dad's,
Okay.
and he was gonna throw it away. I was like, I'll take them. He was throwing away a bunch of CDs. I was like, just let me have them. Like, give them to me. Don't throw them away. So that's when I first heard that, and there was no swearing on it, and I was just amazed by that because I listened to a lot of grime and like Pow. Pow was a big game changer for me as well. Pow by Lethal Bizzle. That was one of them ones where like I go to my brothers in Stockwell and he have a mic, and I used to just spray the bars from Pow because I couldn't write any of my bars. I was too young. But when I heard the Rakim joint and I heard no swearing on it, no cursing, and just straight facts and love and like purity, I thought, yeah, there's a space for what I believe in, what I want to say when I do my thing, you know, not just talking.
Was there a particular UK artist that really inspired you and maybe made you think that I can do this, you know?
Yeah. I think Jest is up there, Kalashnikov, Terra Firma, a lot of the guys on Channel U and stuff like that as well. Channel U was like, because it was a lot of DIY stuff, you could see yourself in them. But I think, yeah, Jest or Kalashnikov were definitely the ones that like, I'm going to cut this.
You kind of mentioned two artists, Jest and Kalashnikov. Now, these are artists that are from the sort of undocumented UK era of music. A lot of it was Channel U, but this was kind of before social media and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you feel like those artists, I feel like I'm asking a rhetorical question, but do you feel like artists like Kalashnikov and Jest get the flowers or the plaudits that they deserve?
I don't think so. I don't think so, not at all. And that's because I guess they weren't mainstream at that time. But also at the time that they were coming up, being a rapper was already hard enough. Like Dizzy Rascal was the first one to really like take it there, and then he went and did his old, I say alternative. He was making the Calvin Harris joints. He was making the kind of more dancey records. But yeah, Boy in the Corner was game changing, and I think another one who kicked down the door again was J Hus. So now we're getting the look in. If you want to call people alternative rap, you look at someone like Slow Tie now. Like, look at what he's been able to do, you know? Like, so it's a matter of timing. But I think if they came up in the time they did now, people would be like, yeah, they're the kings.
So your song Black on Black, a definite big song in your discography, and you said a lot of stuff in that song. There's a lot of things you're saying.
Yeah.
What do you want people to take from that song?
You know what? That's a crazy question because that song is a Percy. Like, that song was written for me and my family, and that's why the video is the way it is, and it was a part of me documenting a part of my legacy. You know, I think if there was anything to take away from that is that, like, I'm the third generation of someone who's come from Windrush, and like this, I'm just a product of that, basically. You know, and just remembering where you're coming from and where you're going is something that you should always remember in life, really.
For those that don't know, the Windrush Generation, Caribbean people and, you know, some African people that came over, mainly Caribbean people that came over in the 50s and 60s and settled in the UK and played a big part in sort of civilization, man. Done a lot of jobs that maybe a lot of the indigenous people of the UK didn't want to do, man. So the Windrush Generation was definitely very important, and was an influx of, you know, people of colour and Caribbean people coming over to the UK. That's what I'm saying.
For real. Trust my granddad, he worked in a coal mine for 20 years, bro. And he's turning 92. Like, he's still alive, breathing, soldier. Different breed. Strong still.
So on Black, you also got the line where you say, never like the gods, so I prayed to the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man, this is a big line, man. I mean, do you want to break that down for a bit?
Yeah, so the line is, never liked their gods, so I prayed to the moon. And I think that's just more about me and like what I'm into and like spiritualism. And I think what a lot of people, or maybe back in time, were maybe interested in were a little bit less, rather than a god who was inbound or entwined with kings and stuff. It just didn't make sense to me. So yeah, like, I don't want to break it down too much, but it's just more like, so just know your portion, innit? It's the same thing. Know where you're from and where you're going. And you won't be blinded by certain things that people try to put in your face.
I want to talk about, you collaborate a lot with Pablo Pullen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He handles a lot of your production.
That's my dog.
How and when did the unity between, you know what I'm saying, the working relationship between you guys begin?
Like, so me and him went to school together. He was a year below me. And we literally, I used to like buck him in the corridors. I was going youth club at the time, recording in Chiswick. And he was like, he followed me on SoundCloud. He was like, yo, your raps are hard, blah, blah, blah. We were always exchanging music. He was putting me onto Jay Dilla. I was putting him onto other grime stuff. So like, he always had a big American influence in terms of his production, because that's what he wanted to get into. Like Jay Dilla, that's always like a producer's hero type thing. And for me, I was putting him onto the grime stuff. I was putting him onto the jest, the like powers and all of the stuff that he might not have heard, or, you know, so it was just one of those relationships. And then he was like, look, I want to start making beats. So I was like, bro, let's do it then. So he bought his first MPC, cracked FL, went round his house, and then I stopped going to studio, the youth club. I started going to his, and I went there every day for like 2 years straight until he was like making beats, like literally in his house every day. Bless his mom, she let us stay up till late making bare noise. Like she proper held it down, and she's been a key part and component of me and him being able to do all of this. Like when we made Different, that was recorded in his bedroom in another yard. He used to live closer to me, and then he moved away. So yeah, he's like family now. You know what I mean? And it's a struggle in its own way, because like now the bond is so tight. Like he's just like blood now. You know what I mean? It's past the point of small talk and all that. Like we can be real with each other, and I think that's the kind of energy you need when you're in the studio sometimes, man.
Straight up. Something I've been speaking to a lot of artists about recently is the fact that when it comes to record labels, PR, managers, in this generation, they seem to promote numbers a lot. Now, when I'm talking about numbers, I'm talking about record sales, I'm talking about digital streams, I'm talking about YouTube numbers. In your opinion, how much do you feel like those big numbers dictate how good a song is? Because somebody will be telling you, because this song has big numbers, it streamed 10 million this week. It came out the gate 1 million views in the first day. They'll be telling you like it's the best thing since sliced bread. How much do you think those big numbers dictate how good a song is?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't think there's a correlation. I can't lie, because times are changing. And yeah, people like to talk about numbers. I guess people used to say numbers don't lie, but I don't know. I feel like they might be these days, or just like music's changed, innit? Music has changed now. People are looking for music on apps that have clips that last 12 seconds, and like that's what's popping now, because someone can do a little choreograph to it, and that's a hit. But you want to go back to someone, I don't know, even like a song like Tupac Changes, yeah, like that song's timeless. Don't matter how many plays it's got. There's songs that come out this year that might get more plays than that in the next 2 years, but will that song be remembered, or are you going to remember Tupac Changes? And I think we all know the answer to that. So it's always quality over quantity for me. I mean, quality control.
And that is definitely something to think about as well, because you might have a song that is very big at a time, like in a year, like a particular year in time. And in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, people have totally forgotten about that song. But there are these particular songs that might have been big at the time and maybe not as big at the time. But then when you're looking 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line, these songs are remembered and celebrated. So I suppose that has a bit to do with it as well.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that I'm aiming for. And I think that's something I probably achieve with Black on Black. Like, and that's just for me anyway, but I like 100% I know, even down to the video and the track itself, like the song's timeless, in my humble opinion.
Now, aside from writing, if you follow KAM-BU on the gram, you might definitely realize that this guy has been spending some time in the gym. I'm not saying I'm looking at you like that. I see that man has, you know, definitely been working on his physique, man.
Yeah.
What are you doing, man? You I mean, some people like to say that they're natural with it. Are you spending a lot of time with it? How does it go down for you with the training regime?
Yeah, no. So these days I'm doing more calisthenics. I don't really like going to the gym too much, and obviously gym's been closed. But since spring's come and the days have got a bit longer, I've just been getting back on it. But yeah, something that I enjoy. Like, it definitely helps keep my wig on straight in the stressful times, and just like emails. Like, it's a good way for me to clear my mind, man. So I definitely got good genetics for it. But you know, that's no excuse. 'Cause I never used to have a chest. I used to have a pigeon chest. But my older brother literally woke me up every day. One summer when I was like 14, 15, and was like on it, and we were just working out every day non-stop, man. You know, they don't happen overnight. So
of course,
if you really want it, go get it. I think that's just a testament to everything in life, innit?
Real talks. What are some of your ambitions as a musician, as a rapper, as an artist, long term?
Yeah, long term is to maintain, for sure. And also, I think for me, like, one of the highlights would probably be like Pyramid Stage at Glastonbury. I think that's what I'm aiming for. And then after that will be to take it across the seas, you know, do some there and see how that goes. and just keep making great music, man, and just like go where it takes me. You know what I mean? And not do things for alternative reasons or because it seems like the thing to do. Just trust myself, and I think it will get harder to do that as time goes on, because I don't know, there's something to be said about being put into the window and having a moment, but everyone wants to hold on to that moment. And I think it's just like letting it go type thing, let it do its thing.
Recognition from the States, from America, how high does that rank for you?
Somewhere in the top, but it's not at the top. I don't know where the top is. That's the thing about me, man. That's the thing about me. I don't really like to put titles or things on, like, you know what they say, expectations set you up for disappointment, innit? So I just take it as it comes, man.
Hey, listen, man, it's been a great conversation today. Myself, SK Vibemaker, and KAM-BU. They say my interviews are hotter. Know yourself out here.
SK Vibemaker.